Hello and welcome back to another Commander game. I am once again playing Talrand, and this time I am against a Progenitus deck. So, some kind of 5-color whatever deck. So this hand is perfectly fine. Index turn 1 is great because I can pretty much set up my first 5 turns of the game. So I will go ahead and cast that. And looking at these, I definitely want to draw Sky Diamond next turn to help ramp. And probably Visions and then some lands after that. Yep, and there we go. And I pass it to him. Land and pass. So I'll play out my Sky Diamond, pass the turn back. And Seagate Oracle. And I'll reveal 2 islands, so I'll just put one in my hand and the other on the bottom. And then I'll cast Serum Visions. Put both cards on top and then draw one. And he casts Dak Vaden. It's like the second game in a row this has happened to me, where somebody's cast Dak on turn 3 and just stolen my mana rock. Feels bad, but not the end of the world. So I'll just play out Talrand. The reason I didn't play Talrand last turn is because I wanted to wait a turn to have Museum Skin up to protect it, but at this point, I just want to get him out there. I do get to kill Dak right away at least. He casts Nahiri, so it's not super fun. Alright, I draw Repulse for turn and go to attack. I wasn't really thinking here you can actually just kill Talrand here, but I realize I have Museum Skin and plenty of ways to keep Talrand alive at the moment, so not the end of the world. And there you go, he tries to kill him. I just save it with Museum Skin. And there you go. This actually works better for me than if you take Talrand up, because I do get to just kill him. He plays Contagion Clasp, so he's some kind of Planeswalker Proliferate deck. And for some reason puts it on Seagate Oracle. I guess wants to force me to have to attack Nahiri with one of these guys. I don't know. I would have probably put it on Talrand. And then cast Call of the Gatewatch to go tutor for a Planeswalker. And he reveals Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So, a bit scary. So I kill Nahiri. And pass the turn. Everything in my hand's an instant, so I don't need to do anything right now. And he casts Supreme Verdict, so it's not the greatest, but I can just return Talrand to my hand at least, so I can just recast it for 4 next turn. And that's what I do, with Repulse up to keep him alive. He casts Deploy the Gatewatch and just puts 2 Planeswalkers into play, which is pretty rough. The Fairy is going to let him get a ton of value off Contagion Clasp, plus just his mana, and Jace is going to stop me from being able to kill the Planeswalkers as quickly as otherwise would be able to. So this turn I draw Sleep. I decide to just poke Jace for 1, pass the turn back, keeping Desertion up. And sure enough, he proliferates, ticks Jace up, goes to cast Sarkhan, and then I'll copy this. Pretty much copy anything he plays at this point. Just need some Drakes to start putting on pressure to the Planeswalkers. And he untaps some lands and passes. I draw Compulsive Research, so I go and cast that. And I draw Negate, Land, and Forbid. And I decided to discard the land here. Keep both the counter spells. And Sleep is a fine card to discard to Forbid with buyback. So I end up attacking Jace here instead of Neferi because I don't want him to ult Jace. It's not the scariest ultimate, but I'd rather avoid Planeswalker ultimates if I can help it. So I'll cast with counter spells up. And of course he proliferates at the end of his turn. And he goes to cast Ugin, so I'll negate that, of course. You untap 4 things. Of course, he's going to Contagion Collapse at the end of my turn again. I draw Trail of Evidence. So once again, I'm kind of forced to hit Jace here. I could kill Teferi, but I don't want Jace to ultimate, so is what it is. He's going to get at least one more turn out of Teferi. But she's giving him good value, but it's not the end of the world. He's pretty much out of cards, so... And this turn I decided to pass rather than play Trail of Evidence, because this way I have like basically 2 forbids up, because Repulse and Sleep are pretty much dead cards, I think, in this matchup. So I'm going to discard them both for the buyback. Sleep proliferates. And cast Nicol Bolas, so glad I have Counterspell up. Definitely counter that right away, and I will pay for buyback. Discard Sleep and Repulse. He untaps some things and passes the turn again. So Bribery, normally a great card, but I don't even bother casting it here because I have a feeling he doesn't have any creatures in his deck. So I play out Trail of Evidence. And swing. Finally get to take Jace off the board here. And I have Forbid up. So proliferate. And cultivate. I'm definitely not going to bother countering that. He takes up Teferi. So I draw Reliquary Tower. I decided not to put it into play, just keep it so I could once again cast Forbid with buyback. Takes Teferi out. He plays a land and goes to cast Sarkhan. So I cast Forbid and discard 2 cards. And then he goes to cast Garrick, so I'll counter that as well. And at this point, his only card in hand is Ugin. Alright, so I swing. I mean, admittedly, I probably should have held that counterspell for Ugin, but I don't think I actually knew it was in his hand at this point. Like, he got it off Deploy the Gatewatch, but I didn't notice in the chat at the time. So this whole time I had no idea he had it. And he goes to cast Progenitus. So I respond with Fact or Fiction, hoping to find a counterspell. No such luck. So I just grab the pile of 3 spells and crack the clue. Progenitus is not the scariest. I mean, I am dead in 2 hits, but I can also just kill him, so... Oh, that's right, I already countered you again. What am I talking about? Put him down to 4, so he's pretty much dead next turn. I'll just cash in a bunch of spells here. Mystic Speculation reveals a bunch of crap. I'll put all those on the bottom. I'll pay 2 life and attack scene probe him. And see that he has a Ajani, Mentor of Heroes in hand. None of these abilities are really relevant on this board, but it's good to know. Got Sleight of Hand, so I decided to cast that and twin cast it. Really just digging for a counterspell to make sure I can win no matter what next turn. Because he's already cast his only Wrath, or the only Wrath I know about that can't be countered, so I pretty much just want protection from another board wipe, and here we go. I find Dissolve. So I'll put that in my hand, and I'll grab a Preordain. And I'll pass the turn back. He casts a Ajani. I know that that's not really going to change the inevitability at this point. So I let it resolve. He takes the Ajani up. and gets Sarkhan. So, like, really lucky on his part. This actually would just win him the game with Progenitus. It's a super lucky find for him, but I do have Counterspell, so very lucky to have had that. Ended up being a really close game in the end, but he does scoop to that. So yeah, that was pretty scary. I'm definitely glad I was able to dig to that Counterspell next turn. Ended up being a pretty good game. Survived one board wipe. He wasn't really able to deal with the Drakes after that. Jace definitely made it hard to take care of his Planeswalkers, and the game really stalled out there for a while. But once Jace was off the board, if he can't wipe my Drakes off, the game was pretty much over, because this deck does quite well against mass Planeswalkers. So yeah, hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.